formal proceedings to unwind itself from the European Union. Prime Minister Theresa May kicked off the two-year breakup process by signing and then submitting the paperwork, there she goes, to the European Commission before addressing Parliament earlier this morning. Europe's biggest financial center is London. Should I say was London? Because it looks like it might really be a true child of divorce. Global banks have already started to shift jobs away. Some have picked up their stakes and left, and others are considering it, including J.P. Morgan and Morgan Stanley. It's Goldman that's already saying we're done. Fox Business contributor Robert Wolf is the former UBS of Americas Chairman and CEO. He's also the CEO of 32 Advisors. Is Goldman just the first of a big tide?
Listen, I think that when you run a company, you have to decide over the next 2 years, while they're making their decisions, you have to make your own decisions. The one great thing about having UK as your headquarters was the ability to go anywhere throughout the EU. You know, it was great for recruiting, it was great for costs, there was regulatory environment which was really able to go and do business anywhere 24/7 across the continent. That's all changing. And so when that changes, you have to then make new decisions.
Well, there's this place in London, for those of you who don't know, called Canary Wharf, right? Isn't that where all the banks are clustered?
Most of them.
What's real estate going to be like there if these guys start leaving?
Listen, you and I have been speaking about the euro for a long time in the EU, that when you have countries have a monetary policy they have to live by, but not a fiscal policy, something's going to give. Well, now it's given. And the first to give is UK. Maybe Greece and others go next. They're calling it Brexit.
Scotland wants to stay in the EU. So does Ireland, possibly.
But specifically on UK, I think it's going to really hurt. I mean, they're going to have to redo all their trade treaties. But just in financial institutions, that was the hub. They may now look to go elsewhere where they can go throughout the continent more freely, where travel and tourism is easier, where doing business may be easier. We don't know the paradigm shift that's going to take place on financial regulation just within the UK.
I got to ask you about the Senate Intelligence Committee news conference. You and I were watching it in the green room together. In fact, the entire crew was there, and everybody was watching and listening because these guys look like adults compared to how the House has been handling things. But could it have the potential, let's bring it home to our business viewers, to start gyrating the markets?
Well, there's no question that the intersection of Washington and Wall Street is here to stay. So that's just a fact. So anytime there's a loss of confidence in the Trump agenda, you're going to get jitters through Wall Street, because the market's up 10–12% because they think tax reform is going to get done, infrastructure is going to get done. The minute we start seeing a pullback, which could happen with something like, you know, the Russia crisis, then who knows how other things slow down.
Well, here are the two senators in the leadership. Mark Warner on the left, he's the Democrat, and then you have Richard Burr on the right. He is, of course, the Republican. And these two sounded almost like they were on the same page, and there was this moment where reporters asked, did you do what Nunes did in the House, which is, of course, the California representative, and he apparently took his information, instead of taking it to his committee, he went to the White House to show the president.
Listen, for those who don't know...
They said no.
For the Republicans who don't know Senator Warner, just like I'm not that close to Senator Burr, he's one of my closest friends.
Really?
Yes. He was the governor of Virginia and left as the governor of Virginia in a red state at that time with an 83% popularity. He is a true centrist.
Burr.
No, Warner.
You said Burr is one of your closest friends.
No, Warner.
Okay.
I said...
All right, okay.
Sorry if I misspoke.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, and he's a straight shooter. And it seems, what I know, that Burr's a straight shooter. These two want to do what's best for the country. They're acting like the adults in the room, unlike what's happening in the House.
Well, the first event, the first public hearing will be tomorrow. Robert, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Robert.